was just making some coffee. I figured I'd do this in the kitchen since the guys are in the back, and I didn't feel like recording this in the living room. Hopefully I'll get left alone. I don't feel like taking up the bathroom to do this either, so hope you can hear me okay. I'm in the kitchen, like I said, which is odd. You'll never guess where my camera's sitting. The camera's sitting in the cupboard on top of a Tupperware full of almonds. And Bosley wants to say hi. Come here. He says, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Oh, I'm talking to the people out there. See him? Say hi, people. Hello, people in the TV. Okay, I'm going to put you down because you're heavy. Give me a kiss. Who's a good boy? Who's a lovely boy? Yeah. Had kind of a rough day today. Last 3 days I've been having an off again, on again panic attack, just constantly. Panicked about finances, panicked about life in general, panicked about just about everything. And he's a good boy. I can't pick you up, kid. Sorry. And unfortunately today, between the heat and the stress and the sleep deprivation because of the heat and the stress and everything, I just kind of snapped at one point, and I lashed out at the dog and yelled at him and smacked him on the nose for barking and shit. And then I had a big panic and freak out because I just feel like a terrible, terrible person when I have to do that. I hate having to discipline him, even if it's necessary discipline. It's just so hard, and you gotta do it sometimes, but today it wasn't appropriate. It was me being angry, and so I had, I don't know if you can see this, but I've mentioned, unfortunately, sometimes when I have these really bad schizo attacks, I do things like bite myself and claw myself to keep myself from, like, lashing out and punching someone, basically, because that's what I used to do when I was really little. I used to lash out and punch whoever was nearby, basically. I don't do that anymore. I take it out on myself, which, at least it keeps me from assaulting people, right? It's still not healthy, and I just... So today was a really, really bad day, and then I said something to my partner about the soap on the counter, and he yelled at me because he was in a bad mood too, because of the heat. And unfortunately, I noticed that the heat, it brings out the worst in people. It makes people angry, and the people just, especially when there are people who aren't used to the heat, they just go for each other's throats. It's annoying, and I'm guilty of it too, and so are you, I'm sure, and it sucks. Trust me. Shut up. Stop it. I can't set you on the counter. It's filthy. Doggies don't belong on the counter. But yeah. How about if I wheel the chair over here? Will you be happy then? Here. Hop in. Hop up. Here we go. Here we go. There. I wheeled the dog's chair over so he can sit here and he can actually be close to me. Here, I'll turn it around so you can lean up on the back. You're not climbing on the counter. Okay? There. He wanted to be able to be close enough to sniff me and give me kisses and stuff. He gets real upset when he can't. See how much of a daddy's boy he is? You stay off my stove, buddy. But, yeah, so there's that. And unfortunately, days like today, I was, like I said in my last one, I was doing really, really good before the fucking accident a couple years ago, a couple summers ago. Life was improving, I was getting out, I was really building the social network, I made some great friends, I was performing regularly, I was kind of on top of the world, or as on top of the world as I had ever been, and then this shit happened, and it literally killed a part of me, it killed off my strongest persona, my strongest identity, and I just haven't been able to cope without them, unfortunately. They were so integral to who I was that they're a loss, and I'm sure a lot of you won't understand what this sort of thing means, but yeah, it's like someone who you were super, super close to died, and I've just been having a perpetual funeral. Not really. It's really, really hard to explain. Like I said, I have these different masks I wear, basically, and this was the strongest one. This was the one This was the armor. This was the suit of armor that we wore whenever we left the house. And without them, I've just been crippled, quite literally. I just can't cope. And sometimes it gets just impossibly hard to cope with. Sometimes it really seems impossible to go on, but I keep going because I have this really obnoxious argument. Like I said, I've got the voices, and things like today I was walking home from the store, and I'm really, really depressed for one reason or another, probably the stress, and we've got me in the middle here thinking depressing stuff and just being depressed, and we've got voice number one over here going, you know, you should just step off the sidewalk into the traffic. Just go ahead. Why stay around, you know? You feel bad, you're useless, you feel like totally helpless and shit. Why keep going? It's the nihilist, I call them. And then you've got voice number two over here going, they can't do that. You can't do that. What are you thinking? You can't do that because you've got a lot of people who really like and care about you for one reason or another. You may not fully understand, but you know this to be true. And if you do that, it's going to break a lot of people's hearts and make everyone's lives even worse than they already are. Do you really want to be responsible for that? And me in the middle going, gee, that sounds kind of conceited. But still, you got to keep in mind when you're like that, I feel. Think about the people that it would impact, because suicide is selfish. It is. It's one of the most selfish things you can do, because it's not just about you. It causes these huge ripples all around you, and it affects everyone who you ever came into contact with who is aware of you. And it hurts them. But yeah, no, unfortunately I get that periodically, and thankfully this voice is stronger than this one. And that's always been the reassuring fact, is because I have suicidal thoughts, because docs, when you go in for when you're signing up with a new psych doctor and whatnot, or when you go for your regular checkup, they gotta ask about your mental health and whatnot, and at the regular doctor, not the psych doctor. But they say, do you have suicidal thoughts? And I have to say yes, because I do. Like I said, this one over here is on about that all the time whenever I'm in one of my serious slumps. And then they're like, oh, medicine, blah, blah, you know, and it's not that I want my pills back. I really do want my anti-anxiety pills back. I want to get out more. I need to get out more. It's so hard. It was one of the things that was really helping me get by without Lydia. But yeah, I don't ever act on them, though. This is the worst it gets. I'll bite myself or claw myself, like I said, basically to keep me from doing something really stupid, like punching a wall and breaking my fucking hand, which I need to do things like use the computer and cook and clean and so forth. Jerk off. Hey, it's a need. You do it too. But, yeah, I don't act on it, so please don't think this is like a cry for help or anything. This is just me explaining what it's like having a really bad day as a schizophrenic with severe post-traumatic stress. You get into this horrible slump, and then something sets you off, and then you just start lashing out irrationally, just completely lashing out, and thankfully I usually wall myself off, go to my room to be by myself, separate myself from people, so one, nothing else can trigger it, make it worse, and two, so I can hopefully just cry or do whatever I need to do to just calm the fuck down. Today I put all my pillows over my head and buried my face in my mattress and just waited for it to get too smotheringly hot under there to really be able to think, basically. And then came out and fell asleep for a couple hours. That's usually what happens. We usually refer to as basically a rage blackout, or a red out, or a blackout, or whatever you want to call it. Where you see red, intense anger and frustration, and then you basically black out, and that's what happens to me. I basically black out, pass out for a couple hours, and then I wake up, and one, I usually barely remember what happened. I have to really sit and think before I can really remember what happened, and two, I forgot what two is. I'm so spacey when I'm like this. I haven't been sleeping very well either because of the heat. We moved to Portland to get away from the hot summers because Eastern Oregon, hellishly hot and dry and ugly, brown and yellow. But the heat just makes me crazy. It makes everybody pretty crazy. But yeah, so that was today, and thankfully my friend came over and helped me out this evening, and he was thankfully patient and understanding with me, and so everything's good with that. And my parents, my adopted mom and dad, are going to be in town for the week. They come into town, it's technically Friday, so I can say tomorrow afternoon, Saturday afternoon, because they're coming to see Sister and everybody else and whatnot. Whiskers' parents, they adopted me. And yeah, they're coming into town for a week, and they'll be here for our anniversary and everything, so that's cool. And I'm really looking forward to seeing them. And yeah, hopefully things will be a little better this next week, hopefully. I get paid on Friday, that'll help, because I just took my last dose. I've got what I call mental vitamins. I take vitamin B and it's a dopamine precursor. It's an amino acid, there we go. And it's called L-phenylalanine, and it helps boost both energy and mood, and it increases your dopamine levels. That's always good for a mood boost. But it helps me focus and be able to focus past all the noise in my head and whatnot. But I just took my last dose of that, and I just took my last B vitamin. So tomorrow's going to be fun. Hopefully we'll get through it okay. The show must go on. Speaking of, I got to film for that later. As soon as my computer's done transferring files, I'm currently backing everything up, or at the very least all my video files. And then after I'm done filming and editing tonight, I'll back up my music, and my music's already backed up, but excuse me. I'll back up any new video downloads I've made and any new photos I've got, because I've got some new photos that I need to back up because I don't want to lose any of my work. Had that happen before, but yeah. So you can see that my mood's improving already. Like I said, I sleep it off, and then I wake up, and I'm usually like, what the fuck happened? I feel like I've got a hangover. And yeah, it'll get better. It's gotta get better. So yeah, that's really all I have to say for right now. I'm starting to get really hot in the kitchen here. I'm under the incandescent bulb, and it's sweaty in this corner here. So I'm gonna sign off for now. Thank you for listening. Bye.